Generally, when we conceive of mercy, one line of thought is that it is some good fortune, kindness, generosity that is undeserved. Undeserved in the sense of when we think of action and reaction, like in the karmic world, you do something good and later you reap the result of that, and do something bad, later reap the result of that, good and bad, in the karmic sense. So when we conceive of mercy, or what's sometimes called causeless mercy, it may imply that circumstantially it appears to be undeserved. That's the idea, that it's not the general reciprocal principle. In Gita, Krishna says, Ye yatam mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. As you surrender to me, I reciprocate that. Then we find in the Bhagavatam, mukti dadati karidchit, something smana bhakti yogam, that Krishna may easily give mukti, but is hesitant to give bhakti. And we would think, well, why, who's so magnanimous and so generous, why is it being indicated here that sometimes he is hesitating to give that very thing which we can say, without hesitation, without consideration, is being given, distributed so liberally, magnanimously in Gaur Leela. In the Chaitanya Charitamritam, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami giving himself as an example of being a recipient of the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And he presents a vision of Nityananda Prabhu in a state of deep, divine intoxication. Krishna prem to the extreme. It's in a deep state of divine intoxication, taking in Krishna, Krishna, and surrounded by so many associates and staggering, and under the influence of that divine ecstasy, and he gives them the order, Krishna Das, go to Vrindavan. So Srila Guru Maharaj has indicated that and when Nityananda Prabhu is in this condition, he's oblivious to his surroundings and those surrounding them. So it's a good time to approach him. It means all of our lack of qualifications or disqualifications will be, what's the word? Pardon me? No, though I'm searching for another word, a precise word, because Well, we can just say simply, they won't be considered, they won't be acknowledged. I can't find the exact word that I'm searching for. But in the Bhagavatam, it's mentioned there in that sloka in the 5th canto, that Krishna is easily giving mukti, and that means mukti in its most general sense, release from negative influence, but not mukti in the positive sense, muktir hitvanyata rupam swarupena vivastiti, of servitor identity in the seva mayuyam loka, in the land of dedication, which is mukti proper, one's actual swarup identity. And the sequence given there is that, and it's mentioned again in Charitamritam as being acknowledged as something significant, that if sometimes someone is approaching Krishna for devotion, but really in their heart they want something else. So Krishna, reciprocating substantially what we're seeking, gives them mukti, siddhi, something else, and they may be satisfied with that and desist from approaching him for devotion. Then the inverse, sometimes devotees, they, in their growth, development, their spiritual journey, sometimes they're asking Krishna for something mundane. But really in their heart, they want devotion. They seek devotion to Krishna. But for some reason, they're asking Krishna for something mundane that's not really in their self-interest, that may be likely to deviate them from the path of devotion, put them on a detour for however long. Where Krishna, being kind and merciful to his devotees, will not give that. So on one level, apparently he's not reciprocating. On another level, we can say, no, really, it's what is in the heart. Right? A yam yam bhavam, smaram bhapi, yam yam bhapi smaram bhavam chajachante kalevram tam tam eboite konteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Bhav, if we take it, bhav, what's in the heart, that'll be the determining factor. Right? Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadev Goswami in the Bhagavatam, why is it that Mahadev is naked? He has not even clothing. He's so renounced, only body covered in ashes, living beneath a banyan tree. Yet his devotees are seen to be so opulent. Whereas Vishnu, he has Lakshmi Devi at his lotus feet, massaging his lotus feet. He's his constant consort, but his devotees are impoverished. And the response comes, Yasyaham anugranami harishe tadanam shanai. That if Krishna really favors someone, anugraha, then he takes everything away from them. That is his mercy. To take everything away from them, take everything which is serving as an impediment to the culture of Krishna consciousness. Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavartam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. Krishnanushilanam, what is favorable to Krishna culture? karma and gyan will have to be dismissed. So these different sort of behaviors are observed by the acharyas on a deep level examination, scrutinizing the statements of the scriptures and the known behavior of Krishna and his avatars. But we find indicated in Chaitanya Charitamritam, and particularly what we're in the throes of celebrating, the Jagannath Rath Yatra, Krishna, in response to Srimati Radharani's summary representation of the sentiments of the Braja Gopis, the sloka Hushchatena Lina Nava Padaravindam Yogeshware Hridivichintam Agada Bodhai Sangsara Kupa Patito Taranavalam Gehum Jushamapi Manusuryat Sadhana, where says decrying the position of yoga, gyan, karma, all these things, which is an indirect way to hint at the unique, extraordinary, superlative quality of devotion that's found in the heart of Radharani, and by extension her serving group, the Braja Gopis. But Krishna's response, he says, Mai bhaktir hi bhutanam amritatyaya kalpatai. That everyone wants devotion to me, everyone wants a connection with me. The karmis, to save them from impending sinful reaction, the yogis, the jnanis, everyone. And they think if they get connection with me, that, yam labdva chaparam labham manite nadikam tataha, that there's nothing greater than this. And that's true. But Krishna says to them, but I consider myself fortunate that I'm the object of the love and affection that was in your hearts. So, and this is alluding to a part of the Bhagavatam, which is Napareham Nirvadya Samyudam slok, where Krishna is saying, I cannot reciprocate with you. The general rule, he's saying, as they surrender to me, I reciprocate. But in the case of the Braja Gopis, he says, what is found in your hearts is so extraordinary, it's not possible for me to reciprocate that. And here's really, truly, where the famous aphorism, maxim, let virtue be its own reward, can be traced. Really. You understand? Virtue, its own reward. I mean, what you've done is virtuous. That in itself, and it's so high, so wonderful, it in itself is the reward. Not that you do this and then you get something on a consequence to that. So, but again, what this alludes to, just in the case of Pratap Rudra Maharaj, singing the Gopi Gita, and the Tavakatamritam Tapta Jivanam Sloka, Niyan saying, Burida Jana. Those who talk to us about Krishna bring us the news of Krishna, right? The words of Krishna, Janma karma chame divam evam yo veti tattvataha, the truth of who is Krishna, right? And his pastimes, his incarnation, everything about Krishna. They're really the saviors of the world. They're doing the most valuable service to human society to animal society, to any society, to the world and the world of animation, inanimate and animate. There's nothing higher, better, more wonderful than this. Right? So, such praise is coming to them, and because Krishna has assessed there's nothing more valuable than what's found in the hearts of the Vrajagopis. This is also indicated and corroborated in the Chaitanyastakam of Srila Rupa Goswami. Sureshanam durgam gati ati shaino panishadam muninam sarvasvam pranata batalinam madhurima viniryasha premno pashu bhujam sat chaitanya kime punarpi dushor yashati padam. Guru Maharaj once gave a name to someone, Suresh Durga. Sureshanam Durgam. Saying what is difficult to achieve for the Sura. Sura means the gods and goddesses. Muhyanti Yatsuraya. The Aprakrita Leela of Krishna is bewildering by any rational examination. Vaikuntha, it's beyond mundane estimation. Even the gods are bewildered and trying to properly estimate what is Krishna Leela, what to speak of Gaura Leela. Sureshanam Durgam Gati Ati Shayino Upanishadam. And the Upanishads, we hear in the personified Vedas, the Veda Stuti, they're trying to indicate the direction. Krishna, Shruti Bir Vimrigyam. Right? But, as observed by Uddhava, this, which is so rarely, which is difficult to achieve for the gods and goddesses, and is only being indicated by the Upanishads and the Vedas. It is the possession of the Brajagopis. And they are observing in the descent of Krishna as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they're saying the sort of love that is exclusive to the heart of our mistress, which means Srimati Radharani. It is as if that has become personified before us in the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They're so happy and stunned and astonished to see that Krishna, he has taken the heart, he's enveloped by the heart of Radharani, and radiating Shama Sundar has become Gauranga Sundar. Mahaprabhu told Ramananda, said, it is not that I am golden normally. Anta Krishna Bahir Gauram Darshitangari Bhavam. Internally, I am Krishna, Shama Sundar, but Radha Bhava Duty Subalita, being enveloped by the heart of Srimati Radharani, I have achieved the position of Gaura, Anga, Gauranga, as Ramananda observed in their famous dialogue that although ostensibly Mahaprabhu is asking questions and Ramananda is the position of instructor, after some time, Ramananda said, in the beginning of our conversation, I was seeing a sannyasi. It was described as if the sun was dressed in saffron garments sitting on the banks of the Godavari River. He said, but now, he said, I look at you more closely and I'm not seeing a sannyasi anymore. Now I see Shama Sundar Krishna, Shama Goparup, in the form of a cowherd boy playing the flute. And Mahaprabhu's response is, oh, we've heard of this sort of exalted vision of the Mahabhagavata in the scriptures, that wherever they cast their glance, they see Krishna. Right? Bhagavat, what is it? Bhagavadesha Uttama. So when you look at me, you're also seeing Krishna. And Ramananda saying, no, please don't tease me in this way. Not only am I seeing Krishna, but I see that Krishna has been covered by the golden form of a girl. And then Krishna responds by saying, I can't conceal myself from your loving devotional eye. And what you see, no one has seen before. Rasaraj Mahabhav Duyakarup. Akhila Rasamrita Murti Krishna, who is Rasaraj, and Mahabhav Swarupini Radha Thakurani. And see how they have combined and how they're mingling together. And with that, Ramananda fainted. And when he awoke, again he saw the sannyasi, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Rupa Goswami says in the beginning, he's quoted in the beginning of Charitamritam by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, saying, Anarpita charim chirat kornaya avatirna kalo samar payatam unatodrila rasam swabhakti sriyam. That what Mahaprabhu is giving, speak of mercy, this sort of mercy, this has never been given before. So, in response to this, Srila Guru Maharaj quotes the Jaiva Dharma of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where one of the persons there, he, in response to this same question, he said, I asked Sanatan Goswami Prabhu, right, in Vrindavan. And he said, Sanatan Goswami said, this is my personal feeling. Whether you will accept it or not, I don't know. He says, but because we may say, well, wasn't there Krishna Prem in the time of when Krishna appeared? He's saying, yes, but this particular quality of Krishna Prem has never been given before. So, Srila Guru Maharaj says this is the very nature of Sri Chaitanya Avatar, that described Mahavaranyaya Avatar, the most magnanimous incarnation, Sri Chaitanya Avatar. He said, so what would qualify him for this position is to take the highest thing, of which there is nothing higher, and to distribute it to the lowest people, of whom there are no one lower. Or reframed, we can say, as Kaviraj Goswami again mentioned, Krishna Lilamrita Sar Tar Shata Shatadar Das Dike Baha Jaha Hoite Se Chaitanya Lilo Hoy Sarovar Akshoy Manasa Chara Hangsa Chari charava vahate. Says Krishna Lila, Lilamrita Sar, it is the creme de la creme of nectarine substances and is reserved for the highest section of liberated souls. So that means that's beyond deserving. That means it is reserved for the highest section of liberated souls. Not just liberated souls, like Kotishvahi Mahamune, Muktanam Api Siddhanam Narayana Parayana. Out of 10 million souls, one may be a devotee of Narayan. 10 million muktas, liberated souls. And Srila Guru Maharaj said, even that is too many. 1 in 10 million is too many. So, this is reserved for the highest section of liberated souls. So who can deserve that? But Mahaprabhu, he's descending to the most fallen, Patita Pavana Gaura Hari, right? To the most fallen, those the least deserving, undeserving. And by his grace and his grace extended through Nityananda Prabhu, Virachandra Prabhu, and everyone in their line of merciful, divine dispensation, merciful extension, they're bringing the undeserving in connection with the most exclusive, divine love and substance. So Guru Maharaj said, well, this is the nature of Sri Chaitanya Avatar. He said, what should he do? Distribute stone chips to everybody? No, but what he conceives to be the highest, he'll give that thing. And this is what Krishna conceives to be the highest. So we told before, mukti dadati karhitit. He can give mukti without thinking, without hesitation. But this is so beyond that. What does he conceive to be the highest thing? What are you saying? Hladini Shakti Sar. What is the essence of that? Prem. What is the essence of prem? Bhav. What is the essence of that bhav? Mahabhav. So, as extraordinary, inconceivable as it may be, it's bringing Mahabhav into this world, highest form of Krishna Prem, and distributing that and making it accessible. So it is causeless mercy. Is, let me say, yogyata vichare kichu nahi pai tomara korunasar. By the mercy of Sri Guru, we can get some qualification. Means mercifully something may be extended to us, some grace. Yesterday was the Hera Panchami and the continuing celebration of the Rath Yatra. After the whole thing takes place in around 9 days, or for 9 days. But after so many days go by, we're told the goddess of fortune, she becomes suspicious. Why Krishna, Jagannath, Dwaraka Krishna, why is not returned? So, and this is described in Chaitanya Charitamritam, that Mahaprabhu and his associates, they're observing this festival. And here we see the goddess of fortune. She comes riding on a palanquin, dressed in all of her opulence, surrounded by so many dancers, singers, attendants. And in this majestic parade approaches the Gundicha, which represents Vrindavan. And we're told her attendants, they're abusing the attendants of Jagannath, they're smashing the chariot and demanding that Krishna present himself. And as Mahaprabhu and his devotees are watching this in their divine minds and hearts, and their divine vision, it lays the groundwork for a discussion given by Swarup Damodar, an unparalleled discussion on the science of devotion and the science of rasa. Because they say normally when there's the lover and the beloved, loved and beloved, that when there's some neglect, the female will, in separation and feeling neglected, neglect herself. But they've never seen something like this where Lakshmi Devi has the opposite response by ornamenting herself in opulence to the extreme and demanding that Jagannath present himself. And his servitors come forward and say, he'll be back shortly, tomorrow. But at that time, this Mahaprabhu inquires from Swarup Damodar, and he gives this extraordinary dissertation about the different types of gopis, their different types of moods, things that we can't discuss, but they're within the pages of Chaitanya Charitamritam. And after that, and it's giving Mahaprabhu so much joy to hear. And at the conclusion, Srivas Thakur, who we shall note is Narada, Srivas Thakur says, "Look at the opulence of my goddess of fortune." And what do the gopis have in comparison? She's riding on a Ratna Singhasan, a jeweled throne, dressed so beautifully, and so many jewels, gems. And what do the gopis have? They're milking cows and making butter and things like that. And Vrindavan, they have so many trees, flowers, fruits, Jamuna River. Not much. But Lakshmi Devi, so much opulence she has. So seems that Vrindavan pales in comparison. We may wonder, why is he speaking like that? To elicit a response from Swarup Damodar Goswami. So Mahaprabhu says, "Oh, Srivas," taking him to be Narada, "I think you've got a little too much Vaikuntha on the mind." Right? With this Aishwarya Gyan, right? Knowledge, majestic knowledge. He's saying, and Swarup Damodar said he is a Shuddha Brijbasi. He has no concept of Aishwarya, meaning majesty, opulence, etc. And then Swarup Damodar, that's the cue for him to begin. And he said, "No, it's not that I don't understand about opulence. I think Srivas is temporarily insane, that he's forgotten a few things. And we hear in the Brahma Samhita, Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Sarva Kalpataru, the description that the trees in Vrindavan, they're Kalpataru, they're Kalpavriksha tree, desire fulfilling trees. Right? And they're yielding all the paraphernalia necessary for divine service in Goloka Vrindavan. He said, and you say cows, who are these cows? Kamadhenu. They're Surabhi cows, yielding oceans of milk. And you say jewels, or excuse me, you're talking about the gopis and their dress and ornaments. Quotes Bilva Mangal Thakur from Krishna Karnamritam. Says, Chintamani's charana bhushanam angananam sringara pushpa tarabat suranam Brindavanam Kamadenu Brindani Cheti Sukhasindu Raho Vibhuti. Oho Vibhuti. Oh, what opulence there is in Vrindavan. Besides the Kalpavriksha trees, those are the trees of Vrindavan, the Surabhi cows are there, the Kamadhenu, they're fulfilling all desires. He said, but it is the land of the Chintamani gem. And one of these Chintamani gems possesses in it more opulence than the whole of Vaikuntha. All the Vaikuntha lokas combined. Right? As Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, if you take a vast amount of sugarcane juice, and then that's sweetness, right? Then you condense it, it becomes molasses. You condense it further, it becomes gur. You condense, then you have one bit of rock candy. And in that rock candy, there's a vat of sugarcane juice. It's all concentrated there. So he's saying the concentrated sweetness of Vrindavan, when you take all that opulence and Aishwarya and concentrate it, is not equivalent, or as you can say, an atom of Goloka Vrindavan contains all the opulence of Vaikuntha. It's mentioned that from an aprakrita point of view, it appears to only be 16 kroshas, like 32 square miles, whatever that is, and kilometers, who knows? Times 1.6, whatever, 48 something. But this, so it appears to be like a small town. The original reality appears to be like a small town. This is a Prakrita Lila. This is the most confidential realm of the Adhoksaja world. Vaikuntha is the lower hemisphere of the Adhoksaja world. Aprakrita Goloka, Gokula, is the highest aspect. And one grain of that soil can contain all the Vaikunthas, everything. So he said, there, out of that soil springs the legendary, mythical Chintamani gem. So one Chintamani gem is more opulence than all of Vaikuntha. The gopis take many of these Chintamani gems and they wear them as nupur, anklets on their holy lotus feet. Aho vibhuti. So what type of opulence is there in Vrindavan? So this made Mahaprabhu very happy and all the devotees happy. And it was all sprung out from the teasing of Srivas Thakur of Swarup Damodar. So we can say, to stay on theme, how can we have any appreciation for these things, or hope to have any appreciation for these things? The capacity to appreciate them is extended to us by the causeless grace of our Guru Varga. Only through grace. The eye cannot see without sunlight. Sunlight is like grace. Sri Guru and his grace. We realize our connection substantially with Guru through grace. And by that grace, we acquire the capacity to appreciate divine substance. We're told that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was Brihaspati, normally, the guru of the demigods. But he's being given entrance into Gaur Leela by the grace of Mahaprabhu. Before that grace, he couldn't, with all of his vast knowledge, Vasudev Sarvabhauma, the court pundit of Prataparudra Maharaj, with all of his shastric knowledge and understanding, even being able to scientifically observe, detect, and verify Asta Sattvika Vikar and of the divine trance of Mahaprabhu, he still could not recognize his divinity. And Gopinathacharya, the brother-in-law, they're having some shastric-based discussion, and Gopinath stops and says, but what is the point? I'll quote something, you'll quote something. Atapite deva padambuja dvaya prasadalesh anugrahita evahi. Prasadalesh, without a little mercy, you'll never get it. You won't understand it. It won't make any sense to you. You won't appreciate it. You won't see it for the reality that it is. You'll be bereft of spiritual vision. Prasadalesh anugrahita evahi. You have to get some mercy from the Lord. Then the eyes are open. Ajnana timirandasya jnananjana salakaya chaksurun militam jena tasmai Sri Gurave namaha. The primal Guru mantra is about receiving that grace and the opening of the eyes to behold spiritual reality, spiritual substance. Then he got the grace of Mahaprabhu, and he realized, lamented his past behavior, mocking Ramananda Roy as a devotee. Then he realized what a substantial devotee Ramananda was, sent Mahaprabhu to see him. And Mahaprabhu not only went there, but toured the whole of South India. When he came back, he said, I didn't find anyone like you. Of course, there was Ramananda. He's in his own category. But I met with all these representatives of all these different theistic schools of thought, and I never met anyone like you, Sarvabhauma. No one even came close. No one compares. And Guru Maharaj laughed and said, yes, Sarvabhauma is the creation of Mahaprabhu. That, he said, indirectly, he's certifying himself. I didn't find anyone like you. Who is Sarvabhauma? What Mahaprabhu made of him through the extension of grace. So we aspire to that identity to be realized under the influence of the grace of Sri Guru. Hare Krishna. that a baby or a cat? It's a cat, okay. Hare Krishna.